Howdy ho, everybody. How are we? Glad to see you here. We are live on location at Bobby's Bar. I'm looking forward to having you join us. We've got some great race cars out front, great racers inside. And this is our very first DeAngelo's Construction Roadshow of the season, so come on down and join us. We're live at Bobby's Bar for the next little while in Brookfield at 14735 West Lisbon Road. There are great-looking race cars on display out front. We've got Dave McCardle's Super Late Model in the corner. We've got Mia's Junior Dragster. We've got John DiPiazza's beautiful Pontiac, I think it is, right? Corvette. It's a Corvette? I couldn't tell from this angle. All right, John will be on in a few minutes if you couldn't tell. We're live. Thank you for joining us on this program. The food special tonight here at Bobby's is 75-cent wings, and if you didn't know, Bobby is a very charitable guy. 5% of all proceeds tonight and throughout the month of May goes to Children's Hospital of Wisconsin. So come on down, spend some money at the bar, have some fun, and enjoy the fun atmosphere we have here at Bobby's Bar in northwestern Milwaukee here. We're in Brookfield at 14735 West Lisbon Road. DeAngelo's Construction, we mentioned they're the sponsor of our road shows. I want to thank them for their participation all year long. They're a racing family business serving Milwaukee since 1982 with their trucking, snow plowing, and expert concrete work. They are only the best commercial and residential concrete and will work with you to make your designs and ideas come to life, including stamped concrete and decorative displays. Go online right now to DeAngelosConstructionLLC.com. We've got quite the family racing show tonight, I have to say. I think everybody's coming here up here with family in mind, and it's going to be kind of fun having John DiPiazza and his daughter Mia joining us here, in a few minutes, along with some Joe and Chad Covert are here. They're racing. Joe Pollock and his daughter Crystal Gale is going to be on the program, plus Charlie's here in the house already from ATD, Automatic Transition Design, just up the road. And our second guest on tonight's show, NHRA Top Fuel drag racer TJ Zizzo. He brought his dad with him, so we're going to have TJ and Tony on the show tonight. He brought some cool engine parts with him as well to give away. Thanks, guys, for doing that once again. We have some unique prizes to give away tonight after the show here at Bobby's to anybody who shows up, so come on down and join us. And Dean Strom's here, eating some wonton something I can see. He's already chowing down here. He's going to be ready for us with the Wisconsin racing scene in the upper Midwest during the Bonafide Security Solutions Short Track Report. Yep, we're packed with motorsports content once again. It's what we do. It's our 38th season of doing this. Love being involved with the racing crowd. Thank you to John DiPiazza for dragging us up here to Bobby's Bar. We love it. Our guys say the food here is awesome, and I believe everything these guys say because it's a lot of fun hanging out with Bobby, who hopefully have on the show if he's not too busy back in the kitchen or out front helping people on the show to tell you more about what Bobby's does and his origins dating back to the origins of the Racing Roundup show. Tease, tease, tease. A lot of fun. Having fun with you. Come on down and join us at Bobby's Bar, 14735 West Lisbon Road in Brookfield. This is the Racing Roundup show. We'll be right back.
Add value and beauty to your home or commercial property with professional landscaping from Central Services Company, Incorporated. The team at Central Services is their personal choice of over 45 years of satisfied customers in Southeast Wisconsin for landscape design, construction, and grounds maintenance. Call Central Services at 262-548-0005 for all your landscaping and lawn care needs. No job is too large or too small. From lawn fertilization and weed control to award-winning landscape construction and building your backyard patio oasis, Central Services is your full-service landscape company. Call the experts at Central Services at 262-548-0005 for a free, no-obligation consultation at your home or business. Find out why Central Services can provide you with the visual difference in the art of landscaping and lawn care. Call 262-548-0005. Central Services, the visual difference in landscaping. Get your whole family involved in affordable, competitive kart racing at Millwright Raceway in Dousman, Wisconsin, home of the Badger Kart Club. Walk the pit area, talk to racers, and check out the action from the grandstands. There's a play area for the kids and great food at the concession stand. Spectator admission is free. Badger Kart Club points racers and National Touring Series race on the challenging paved road course most Sundays from April through September. Badger Kart Club is well established and well respected. There's 15 classes and over 100 drivers racing every week. From ages 5 to 75, kart racing offers competition for generations of racers of all ages. Bring the kids and check out kart racing for yourself at one of America's finest kart tracks. This is where Alan Kowicki, Danica Patrick, Sam Mayer, and Josh Palicki got their start. Millwright Raceway is just south of I-94 in Dousman, 35 miles west of Milwaukee, and 45 miles east of Madison. For all the latest information, directions, and race schedule, visit BadgerKartClub.com.
Welcome back to the Racing Roundup Show, our May 24th edition. We're live at Bobby's Bar, 14735 West Lisbon Road. We can't thank Bobby and the whole gang enough for having us here, and we even dragged Dave Hohensee out. Dave is still hanging out, going racing, but it's great to see our friend Dave Hohensee, who's been involved with our show for a long time. He's hanging out with us. We're going to drag him up here, too. We have a lot to talk about here on the Racing Roundup Show tonight. Looking forward to having you join us here this evening. If you can't join us tonight, we're on RacingRoundupShow.com. We're on Facebook Live. Come on down and join the racing crowd when you can on a Tuesday. We're hanging out tonight at Bobby's Bar in Brookfield. Turn your recycled metals into cash today at Allied Resource Recovery with 3 locations. ARR West Dallas Recycling is at 80th and Burnham. ARR Waukesha Recycling is at 1001 Tesh Court. And you can cash in at National Salvage on South 44th Street across from where the Milwaukee Brewers play. Visit AlliedResourceRecovery.com. We have prize giveaways after the show tonight to further entice you to come to Bobby's, including bottles of Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup, Interstate Batteries racing calendars, and LED flashlight keychains. Thanks to Bobby's Bar, we have 5 Bobby's Bar gift certificates and pairs of race tickets to Slinger Super Speedway for this Sunday, the big Memorial Day Spectacular. We have engine parts from TJ Zizzo. We have brand new ATD t-shirts. One's hanging right behind me here on the show. We have other cool stuff to give away after the show as well. We want to make sure you're part of our racing crowd. Hey, congrats to our friend Brad Dahmer at D&H Sales and Service in Sheboygan. Great supporters of our show. They are having a lot of fun because Brad went to Victory Lane this past weekend at his home track, Road America, running his vintage stock car at the SVRA Spring Vintage at Road America. Congrats to Brad and all the winners. So Brad Dahmer rolling in that number 45, which was a Joe Gibbs Racing Xfinity car, I want to say. He's got that car tuned up, running right. He won his class over the weekend at Road America. It's time for the Interstate Batteries of Southeast Wisconsin NASCAR Report. Interstate is a founding sponsor of Joe Gibbs Racing. Interstate Batteries are the #1 replacement battery in North America, and Interstate Batteries of Southeast Wisconsin has a battery for every need. Visit interstatebatteries.com to find a dealer near you. Hey, the right guy won the NASCAR Cup Series All-Star Race Sunday night at Texas Motor Speedway. Ryan Blaney led 84 of the 140 laps. He dropped the window net coming to the checkers. Nope, caution. So what do you have to do? You have to go kind of like, he said he threw his arm out basically trying to get the window net back up. Didn't have to pit. It lined him back up in front. He ended up winning the race. The right guy won. Denny Hamlin finished second. Daniel Suarez won what was the Open, and he was coming through. He ran a strong 5th. He was up to 3rd at one point in the All-Star race itself. Stuart Friesen got back to victory lane in the Truck Series, first time since 2019, 53-some races between. It was a final overtime restart with Friesen aligned with on the front with Christian Eckes. Their Toyota Tundras took a drag race, and Friesen cleared him on the backstretch, and away he went to his victory. So congrats to the Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario driver, Stuart Friesen, for winning his truck race. Carson Hocevar followed third-place finisher Ryan Preece across the line. Preece won both stages in his DGR Ford. Finishing in the top 5 again was 5th-place finisher Ty Majeski out of Seymour, Wisconsin. Ty's coming. I'm telling you, put your money on Ty this weekend. It's another mile and a half at Charlotte. All 3 National Series will be there with ARCA. Ty Majeski, my pick for the win this week in the truck race. Another top 5 this past weekend at Texas Motor Speedway. The Xfinity Series race was won by a second-year team and a champion driver. Big Machine Records and Big Machine Racing is owned by the record and vodka magnate Scott Borchetta. They put 2-time Xfinity Series champ Tyler Reddick in their car. He ends up going to victory lane with Patrick Donahue and the crew evaluating their team. They put him in the car. He wins at Texas. He walked away from William Byron's Junior Motorsport Chevy by almost 2 seconds at the finish. Racing Roundup Show guest and Franklin, Wisconsin native Sam Mayer. He came in 3rd in a Junior Motorsport Chevy. So I'd say keep your eye on Sam at Charlotte this weekend as well. Way to go, Sam. It's Patriotic Paint Schemes in the big Coca-Cola 600 NASCAR Cup Series weekend coming up at Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend, with the ARCA Menard Series, joining those 3 NASCAR National Series, as I mentioned. Menominee Falls, Wisconsin resident Josh Palicki is entered in the Spire Motorsports number 77 Cup car. I think that's the only race he's running this weekend, so keep an eye out for him at Charlotte. I will not be at Charlotte for the ARCA race. I'll be hosting the broadcast of the MAV TV live stream this Saturday night of the 74th annual Lucas Oil Little 500 presented by UAW. That's a 500-lap sprint car race at Anderson, like Rockford or Slinger. 500 laps, 11 rows of 3, sprint cars. It's going to be fun on Saturday night. Dave Augerwright, Rob Klepper joining me on the show. It's live on MAV TV Plus Saturday night, airing Sunday morning on MAV TV right before the Indy 500, and again Sunday night on MAV TV. So looking forward to having a great weekend in Indiana. It's going to be a lot of fun, so do that. There's a lot going on with MAV TV in general. It's an All-American weekend. The hashtag All-American Weekend is what you're going to find. There's drag racing going on. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's pro motocross. There is Wheatland, Missouri. They run the Lucas Oil Late Model Dirt Series, their biggest race of the year, the Show Me 100. Pays $50,000 to win. That's on live on Saturday night on MAV TV. Again, hashtag All-American Weekend. Looking forward to that. We are now joined by a gentleman who's got a lot of things going on. He's hanging out with us tonight, and he's here to tell us more about what the fun he has hanging out here at Bobby's Bar. He's the one that said, hey, let's go to Bobby's for a radio show remote. Let's welcome in John DiPiazza and his daughter Mia. Guys, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
John, you like hanging out here. Now I know why. It's a cool place.
He looks a little angry every once in a while, but he's pretty friendly once you get to know him.
Bobby's only been here a year and a half, but you must not be too far away to say this is the spot I want to hang out at.
It's my nearby hangout, not going to lie. We definitely spend our fair share of sponsorship dollars here.
When you're not drag racing.
Correct.
When have you been drag racing lately?
To be honest, I've had 4 passes on my car this year due to rain. It's been an awful year that way. Basically, the whole first 3 big races that we've had, all the 10s, all the 20s, have been rained out.
As in 10,000 to win, 20,000 to win.
Yeah.
You call them 10s and 20s like they're in your wallet.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
But so our first actual real race was this past Sunday, which is kind of a nice refresher after everything that happened. But I just want to say a couple people that won these past couple weekends.
Yeah.
At Great Lakes, Alex, I'm going to butcher his last name, Olszewski, I believe. He literally rebuilt his whole truck, put a whole new 4-link in the back of it, and came out and won the first race he was in. That's a big accomplishment for anybody to just go ahead and do that. And you'll talk to Chad a little later, who's got a brand new car to him, and he's hoping to have that same luck in, I think, Tri-State, I believe.
All right.
Another thing is there's a Gulfstar race. They race for $11,000 for over 2 days, so 2 11s. Actually, the guy that supplies all of our electronics won. I just wanted to give a big shout out to him. Congratulations, Charlie Hammock.
What track was that at?
That's at Eddyville, which is in Iowa. It's about 4 hours away, 5 hours away.
Okay.
He's supplied all of our stuff, so he's digital delay. He's always been a big part of our racing, so it's good to see him kind of kick tail.
Yeah. Any other results? Or we're talking about rain, and then when that stops, we go racing like twice a weekend.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping. It's been a frustrating start. I'm not going to get to race in 2 weeks for the full weekend. Luckily, it's my mom's 70th birthday, so we're going to go have a nice little party for her. So
cool.
It'll be a nice, relaxing kind of thing, and then Sunday we'll go hit it hard, and then next weekend we're racing for Memorial Day.
And we talk about family. We want to mention our condolences with you and your passing of your father, Jerry. It's a big deal to keep racing. He's been racing his whole life. He got you into this. Now he gets your daughter into this. I just want to pass along our thoughts that we aren't forgetting about Jerry. He's always going to be around us in some way or fashion. But is it that much different without Dad around? Well, what is different when Dad's not pulling on you and talking to you and making you think like, what would Dad think?
Functionally, we all kind of did our own thing with our cars, but those text messages that I used to get when he'd watch the live streams aren't there anymore. It's one of those things you wait for that phone call to happen, in 5th, 6th round with that, you can do this, and unfortunately we don't have that anymore, but the thought of it is always be there. So, that's what we always have, and I'm just happy that Mia's and Maddie can be at the racetrack with me, and it kind of brings that all back. There's a picture actually of us that I posted on Facebook with my dad, my mom, and my other 3 brothers all sitting on the back end of the trailer, and it just kind of hit home of like what this racing all is, right?
Yeah.
So we all want to be here with our family. We want to be able to share it with people, whether you're circle track racing, Brad Miller and his dad. I'm sure Jerry drives them absolutely nuts here and there. I'm sure it's the name. But
Both dads named Jerry. Yeah, right.
in the end run, that's what we're there for, and we take all that into consideration and love every part of it.
And when it comes to racing, you got your daughter tuned up. You brought her junior dragster out here. Let's welcome in Mia. Mia, I imagine you're pretty stoked. You're getting ready to go race for the first time, right?
No, this is actually going to be my second time. I tipped over last time.
Oh, you did? Aren't those cars not supposed to tip over?
Well, I think the throttle got stuck.
Okay. Evasive maneuvers then? Did Dad beat you before the car stopped? Was he already at the car when you stopped flipping?
No.
On your side? No, okay.
I was a little behind. I was at the starting line trying to make sure that. So I got
How
down
fast
there.
could John Piazza run the 8th mile? I'm guessing really fast, John.
I think my feet still hurt.
So, Mia, tell us about the car you have out here. How many times have you been working on it and looking at it and getting ready for this year?
Well, since the throttle got stuck last time, I haven't been really racing on it yet.
Okay.
But since it's now next year, I think I might take a couple passes soon at Great Lakes.
All right. And have you gone to Dad to the track yet? Or are you still worrying about school on Sundays and stuff? Have you been to the racetrack with Dad yet without you driving this year?
No, they've all been rained out.
Oh, wow.
Every single time.
I know the feeling, man. It's hard. You get like, hey, we're all ready to go. We got everything fine. We worked our 75-hour week at the real job. We got 35 hours in the car, and you're going nowhere.
I remember being a kid, and at least for her for sure, she gets so excited about going to the racetrack. It's probably a pretty big letdown. They actually kind of have to pat me on the back a little bit and say, hey, it's okay. They'll be next week.
So, John, what's the plan? How many times is Mia going to race with you? How many times are you racing in the same weekend? You're racing for big money all over the Midwest.
Yeah, we're not going to travel as much this year. Both my girls are in softball, so they got all that going on, all that fun stuff. It's up to her. I'm going to let her shoot whatever she feels needs. If we got to go down there on a Wednesday night when there's no cars down there and
Yep.
she can take 3, 4, 5 passes and get comfortable in it, there's no pressure on my end. And as far as me racing, we're going to travel. We're racing this weekend at Byron for 3 10-granders, which they will be with me for.
Good.
My number one fans.
Yeah. Awesome.
And she's learning how to do some of the crew stuff too. So she was helping me unload the car today. And
So that's this
learning all
Memorial weekend.
Yep, Memorial Day weekend.
All right.
And then the weekend after is my mom's birthday. But we're going to race with them on that Sunday. So that's just a normal local race. I think it's $1,200 to win or something like that.
Is that Great Lakes?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have, while we're on the topic of Great Lakes, they did an unbelievable job with the track. It is the most smooth thing I've been down in a long time. They got a couple little logistics things to work out for the bracket program, but if they can get that cleared up, I think they'll have an unbelievable program.
Cool. And where are you looking forward to when it's coming to the cash and the big check? Anything on the horizon there, John? When you bracket race all over the area, there's got to be, you're saying 3 10,000s to win this weekend in Byron.
Yep.
Any other big danglers out there you're eyeballing?
So in the end of June, the weekend before the 4th of July, Byron has what's called their Firecracker Nationals. And actually we had last year on the show TC,
Yep.
who actually won it. And he actually won $160,000 because rain dominated most of that race, so they put all the races into one. But that's a 30, 100, and a 30. So we'll race for $30,000 on Friday, $100,000 on Saturday, and $30,000 on Sunday.
Wow. That's going to be fun.
It will be. I can't wait, and this car I have is unbelievable. So
We're going to talk more about that Corvette in a minute. We're talking about the guy whose parking spot it's in right now. He has been the proprietor here at Bobby's Bar for the last almost 2 years now. Let's welcome in the man behind this beautiful joint. How about a hand for Bobby? Bobby, thanks for joining us for a few minutes. I know you're a busy guy.
Thanks, Jim.
Thanks for having
Appreciate
us.
it. Thanks a lot.
So when I came here and chatted with you, John DiPiazza already talked you up. Our Greg Lapine already talked you up. Our guys came in here last week. It's been fun, and you said, I got to tell you a story. When I heard Racing Roundup show, I went, wait a minute. Tell us the story of what triggered you as soon as you heard our name of our show, and you said, this could be something cool.
Well, absolutely. So I actually worked for Terry Jeffords.
You started our show in
the creator of
1985.
Racing Roundup.
Yeah.
In the early 80s at WLPX. And, of course, WLPX 97X was on Alan Quicky's car.
Yeah.
So I worked for Terry, so it brought warmth to my heart that, that I was able to have Racing Roundup here at Bobby's and all the great race fans. So And then when I met you, of course, you know Terry. So I mean, that brought Terry was a great man, and he was the creator of this. He's the one who brought it to life, and it's lasted all these years.
And we're doing all this little stuff on our table, and we're doing promo items, and we're giving away stuff for after the show. We're telling people about where to find Bobby's. That's all Terry's fault. I'm guessing that's kind of fun that we got a racing crowd for you tonight.
Absolutely fantastic. Now, I know it's a loyal crowd, great people. John's one of our great customers here, but we always have all the races on here at Bobby's, and always specials every night. It's a good casual bar, casual atmosphere. A lot of TVs for lots of sports. Great Friday fish fry, pan-fried walleye, wing special tonight on Tuesday, 75 cents, and
Bring it.
burger specials on Mondays. And so it's a good, we're open 7 days a week, open at 11 every day, and brunch on the weekends. So it's, we welcome everyone, especially great race fans.
I was here on a Monday, and you had a pretty good lunch crowd in here. You must have really good food.
We do. We have a great, great food, great cooks, and a great atmosphere, and workers that care about what they're doing. So it's all topped off with great customers, and that's only because of people like you.
Well, John DiPiazza is certainly talking high about you, and there's very good reason. You got a lot of things going in the right direction here, Bobby, and I'm really glad to know that I talked to our friend Dave Hohensee, who said the family gathered here after Jerry DiPiazza's arrangements were taken care of, and they all came to Bobby's to hang out. That's kind of neat. You can offer that as well.
That's right. So we can, we do private parties. If anyone ever wants to book this place and use it for a private party, we do that. We have upstairs seating now, outside seating, if the weather ever gets a little warmer. So we can accommodate a lot of different situations.
We could tell people all about it tonight. Where can they find it when they have a chance to go on Facebook or on your website?
Well, you go to Bobby's Bar, greatplacegoodtimes.com. And one of the other things, one of the real cornerstones of this bar is that every day we give 5% of our sales to a children's charity. So there's that was a goal of mine, and really, something that Terry Jeffords taught me many years ago, to give back to the community. So we're really the children's charity bar, the only bar or restaurant in the area that gives 5% of our sales every day to a children's charity. So we do Ronald McDonald House, Make-A-Wish, Children's Wisconsin, and Juvenile Diabetes, JDRF. So that's a cornerstone every single day.
Wow.
We're giving back to a children's charity.
And this month is Children's Wisconsin, right?
This month actually is Make-A-Wish.
Okay.
But we also just promoted the WKLH Miracle Marathon at Children's Wisconsin. But this month is Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wish, which is awesome. That's
Yeah.
kind of neat that you have to do the give back. Now, we're not going to ask you too many more questions, Bobby, because I know you got a pretty full house here. How much fun is it when John rolls in with, 2 buddies or 20 people, or just Mia for a quick lunch?
We try to have a running tab for John. We try to. I try to make sure that he doesn't, that he doesn't completely pay it off every time. But the most special part is when he brings in his 2 beautiful daughters. That's the best part of being John coming in, when he brings in his daughters.
Well, we have some race cars out front, so if you have not been by Bobby's, we have race cars here tonight, but you can come 7 days a week, open at 11 a.m. every morning. Great food, great atmosphere. How about I say for Bobby from Bobby's Bar? Bobby, thanks for joining us for a few minutes.
Jim. Appreciate it.
Thank you. John, we're going to keep you here because Mia's got some more stuff written down. Is that questions for our next guest, or does she have more to talk about? Those are the questions? All right, guess what we're going to do? We're going to take a commercial break, listen to these great sponsors, and when we come back, Mia DiPiazza makes her debut as a guest interviewer because TJ Zizzo and his dad Tony are in the house. Next on the Racing Roundup Show. Stick around.
Join the racing crowd every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central all season long. Share what you love about short track racing on our Facebook page and on Twitter and Instagram at Racing Roundup. We'll be right back with more of the Racing Roundup Show.
Need a pack and move? Well, we do a lot of them. And we have all the proper materials to pack your belongings safe and sound so they arrive in the same condition as they went out in. Packing boxes, bubble wrap, mirror packs, lamp boxes, dish packs. We get the job done right. Packed and labeled properly so it all ends up in the right spot in your new place. This is Rick Vanderboom. Blue Mountain Express Moving and Storage will improve your move.
BlueMountainExpress.com. We will improve your move.
Statewide.
Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment is a fully equipped parts, sales, and service dealer of quality mowers, snow throws, trimmers, chainsaws, and more.
Olson services what they sell, does warranty service work on big box store mowers, and their expert service technicians are ready to get your equipment running right. Put their stock parts department and friendly, knowledgeable staff to work for you. Visit the racers at Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment today at 14323 West College Avenue, just 1 mile east of Moreland Road in Muskego. Olson'sPower.com. Olson's Power Equipment.
This Saturday at Dell's Raceway Park, it's the Lyle Navafelt 55 Tribute Night with the CWRA Super Late Models. Adding to the racing action is the Pro Late Models, Sportsman, Bandits, and Super Cups. Gates open at 3, qualifying at 4:30, green flag racing at 6. Dell's Raceway Park, located 5 miles west of Wisconsin Dells on Highway 12 and 16, or exit 85 off I-9094. Go online to DellsRacewayPark.com for tickets and more info. Good food, great family fun, and exciting racing action this Saturday at Dell's Raceway Park.
427-1000 American Foundation. Cracks and leaks in your basement, have no fears. We've been fixing those things for over 60 years. Trust and dedication, that's American Foundation.
Call American right now for huge savings.
427-1000 American Foundation.
When we decided to get our crack-leaky basement done, I am so glad we called American Foundation. It gave us a sense of confidence, and it gave us our basement back.
And it was the right choice.
Thank you very much.
American Foundation Specialist has been fixing basements since 1947. Satisfied customers are the future at American. Call American for huge savings at
427-1000 American Foundation.
Hey, we're back on the Racing Roundup Show. Glad to have you with us on a Tuesday night, hanging out here in Brookfield at 14735 West Lisbon. Look for Dave McCardle's Super Late Model out front. He's racing this Sunday. It's an Elite 8 Super Late Model race at Slinger Super Speedway this Sunday night. They always do big shows on big holidays. So thank you, Dave, for bringing your car down. We also have Mia DiPiazza's Junior Dragster next to the Corvette that Dad gets to drive. We just heard from them. And we'd like to thank Central Services Company for their longtime involvement with our Racing Roundup show. Spring's friendly here for that new patio oasis you want, or keep your lawn dandelion free. Call Central Services at 262-548-0005. Matt Rapina's a great guy. He helps us with a lot of things. He can help you buy or sell your commercial property or home. Choose Matt Rapina, Caldwell Banker Home Sale Realty. List and buy with confidence. Not all realtors are the same. Choose Caldwell Banker and list it with Matt Rapina. Knowledge is power. You need to hire a realtor that has the knowledge and expertise to get your deal done. Hire knowledge. Visit mattrapina.com. mattrapina.com. I'm Jim Trado, along with guest interviewer Mia DiPiazza. Let's welcome in the men behind the machines and NHRA Top Fuel, TJ and Tony Zizzo. Guys, thanks for coming on the show. We got you hanging out in the house tonight. That's kind of cool. You came up here and had some time with us. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having us again.
And TJ, I'm looking at a whole lot of cool engine parts. Thanks for bringing the spares. You used them already, right? Those aren't going back in the car.
Jim, they are absolutely used and abused, my man.
I have questions for you, but Mia has been really eager to ask questions. So, Mia, you want to ask a Top Fuel racer how to go down the track? You've got your Junior Dragster out front. You want you to ask some questions of TJ Zizzo.
Okay.
I love this, Mia. Thank you very much for asking me questions, too. Super cool.
You're welcome.
Question 1. No drums.
When did you start racing?
I started racing, driving, right, when I was 16 years old. So the man over my right shoulder here is my dad. And my mom and dad were bold enough, right, to ask me if I wanted to drive the race car. And at 16, you want to drive anything you can, right? How old are you, Mia?
10.
You're 10. And you're probably the same thing, right? You'll drive a lawnmower, a dirt bike, a four-wheeler, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was the same way. And when they asked me to drive their car, I said, absolutely no problem. So I was 16 years old. And it took me probably like 9 months or so to attain my license. But at the time, I was world's fastest teenager. So I had gone over 210 miles an hour. Dad, how fast did I go 220 or no?
I think it was 220 even, yeah.
So about 220 miles an hour at 16, which was super cool. And it's still cool. I got goosebumps thinking about it right now. And I even did that at Union Grove, Wisconsin, too. right down the street. How cool is that?
Cool.
Question 2.
How were you had your first race?
Where was it?
How old were you?
See, I wasn't even listening, Mia. You know what I'm saying? I gotta listen. I gotta learn to listen better. How old was I? My first competition, and my dad probably has a better memory than I do. It was at Bowling Green, Kentucky. I think I had probably just turned 17, maybe, because Bowling Green was like late August. Was it not, Dad?
Yeah, I think you had your license before then, but yeah, Bowling Green might have been the first one, and maybe 17, yes.
Yeah, so when that happened, I will tell you, there were a lot of people watching because I was so young at the time to do this, right? My first full pass at Bowling Green, Kentucky, when I was 17 years old in competition, the throttle stuck. Now, did I hear the throttle stuck on your junior? Did I hear something about that?
Yes.
Okay.
You did.
So, similar situation, right? So the throttle stuck wide open because the fuel lines got stuck into the injector, right? See this guy right here? Because of this guy. So we used to run a tie strap in front of the injector, and the fuel lines got stuck in there when I left the starting line. So there were a lot of eyeballs on me, right? Because I was so young at the time. And my dad was, and still is, very strict, right? So, like, racing, you have to be safe when you race. That's priority. And even at 46 years old, my dad still wants me to be extremely safe. So I hit the throttle. The car went up in a wheel stand. I went to get off the throttle. It didn't come down from the wheel stand. And truly, by the grace of God, and I do say that, the car came down in my lane. Even to this day, I have not crossed the center line in all my years of driving a race car. Is that true, Dad? I think that's true too, right?
Yeah, I've crossed a few center lines, but not you.
Yeah, I drive a little straighter than my dad, Mia. And throttle stuck. I settled it down in my lane. Truly, I don't know how I did it. I really don't. Just pure luck. But the throttle was still hung. I got the car and fuel shut off. I got, literally, Mia, the front end was over the center line. The front tires were over the center line. The rears were not. Once again, thank the Lord above. Came down in my lane, got the car shut off, got to the end of the racetrack, right? And this was my first full pass. I'm a young boy. I had a lot of hair back then. I wasn't bald like I am today, Mia. And get to the end of the racetrack, and my dad and the circuit director, which had his eyes on me, his name was Jay Hollinger, had his eyes on me, of course, and wanted to know what the heck I was doing and why I didn't get off the throttle. So I pointed to the injector, and the fuel lines in front of the injector jammed in there. And at that point, everyone calmed down just a little bit. But my heart was still racing up a storm, I will tell you that. So, you know, what was that, 30 years ago? And I still remember that pass like it was yesterday. Good question.
Did you drive a junior dragster?
I wish they had that category when I was your age. They did not. So certainly, if they had junior dragsters, I would have absolutely been driving one. My son is currently in the process of continuing that process of driving the car. My dad's fiance's granddaughter is also doing the same, right? So we're on that path to continue doing that because it is a great program to get all drivers acclimated to driving a big car. And I see all these young people coming into our sport that are kicking my butt because they have a lot of track experience, Mia. They really do. And they have focus probably more than I do because of the junior dragster program. You know, you guys get acclimated to going up and down the racetrack a bunch of times. So to answer your question, no, and the only reason is because that category wasn't even a thought at that time. Good questions. Jim, are you fired yet?
I'm actually looking for another job right now on my phone while we're talking. Yeah.
Go ahead, Mia.
Have you ever won a race or a championship?
So, in every single category I've ever competed at almost every level, I have won, right? Very fortunate to be able to do that. I've had a great team, and some of our team members have been with me from that point, right? Including my dad, of course.
We never did talk about all the different categories you went through. Why don't you give us a list of those?
So, I was very fortunate once again. I gotta answer Mia's questions.
Well,
first,
she said,
Jim.
have you won? And you said yes, but I want to know where and what, and stuff.
Okay, fine.
Now
fine.
I'm getting a little anxious.
Okay. Yeah. Boy, oh boy.
It's been like 3 minutes of me not talking on the show.
Yeah. Who's running the show
Exactly.
here, Mia?
Mia.
Man.
Yeah.
So, we raced in Top Alcohol Dragster for many years. That's where I got my start, and we were able to win plenty of races in a sanctioning body called United Drag Races Association. It was like a Midwest circuit. Won a championship there as well in that car, and then moved on to NHRA and did well there with an alcohol dragster as well. Then we built a Top Fuel car, and I was only probably 23. So to answer your question, Jim,
Wow.
I was very fortunate to have a really kick-butt dad, right, that prepared me to drive a Top Alcohol dragster early on and then ventured right into Top Fuel.
Wow.
Because he really wanted to be broke. When I graduated college, my dad didn't owe a dime to anybody. In fact, I think people owed him money. And many, many moons later, I think you're more broke than you've ever been, aren't you?
Yeah, I've refinanced my house a few times since then, yes.
So then we raced in IHRA and won there. We competed for a championship, came in second by the slimmest of margins at the last race. And one we're still striving for right now is to win NHRA Top Fuel. That is where we're at right now. It's something we've been striving for as a team for a long time, since 2004. And we continue to try and keep on pursuing. We are in pursuit of winning an event at an NHRA sanctioning body track and also winning a Wally. That's our goal.
2020 NHRA Top Fuel semifinalist. Is that what you call it? Runner-up?
Yep.
You were in the finals.
Yes, we were.
Made the show.
Yep, and was there. And, lost. That's part of it. That's part of the sport in which we love. I mean, if it was easy and everyone could win, everyone would be doing it. It is the most challenging thing we could do, especially with how we do it. We do it with an all-volunteer team. We do it with a father who pours his heart and love into it. And we do it with limited resources. I don't want to say, it's a budget, but, we have to watch how we spend our money. And it's okay, though. It's cool. I can't wait to win. I'm looking forward to it 20 years later, right?
Any more questions, Mia?
Yes.
Of course you have more questions.
What got you into cars?
This man right here. That's an easy one. This one right here.
How many races have you been a part of?
Gosh, I was thinking about that the other day, quite honestly. I think we've gone to over 125 or 30 NHRA events in Top Fuel. I believe we've gone to about 40 of them at IHRA level, and the alcohol dragster quite a few. So I'm assuming I'm approaching certainly 300-400 races. And that's probably where we're at, I would think. Do you think so, Dad?
Yeah, at least 300 or 400, yeah.
Okay. Who's your biggest rival?
Everyone that I line up against. Mia, there is nobody that I like. We will, in the staging lanes, as you know, because you're involved in drag racing, we may have a camaraderie of fun and laughs, but I'm almost choked up about it. The second I get my helmet on and my dad helps me strap into that race car, I have no friends. So my biggest rival right now, boy. You know, I mean, you always talk about the best in the sport, right? I don't hate anybody. That's a positive, right? I mean, I don't have any hatred towards any racers that we compete against. But one that keeps on ringing a bell just because he is one of the best right now would be Steve Torrance. That would certainly be one that rings a bell. Do you think that's about right?
Yeah, he's won a few championships. I guess so, yes.
I thought you were going to talk about last fall at Gateway. Round 1 eliminations. You're 15, she's 2. Brittany Forrest rips off the third fastest time ever recorded in the history of Top Fuel at that track. She beat you by a little bit, but my goodness, you qualified in at 325 at a 3.7 of the 98, and she went 337.66 miles an hour to beat you. My goodness.
So here's the deal. Brittany Force, right? There was certainly a time. Do you like Brittany Force? I thought so. Totally cool, man. Totally cool. There was a time when I disliked her, right? We had Peak Antifreeze as a sponsor. Her father, John Force, now has Peak as a sponsor, right? And she wasn't one of the better racers, right? She had some learning to do. And a couple times she made mistakes against me in qualifying and things like that. I'm like, man, you know, what are you doing? So since then, she has won championships. But since then, we have kicked her butt multiple times. I mean, really, seriously, I think I have a winning record against her. So she's no longer one of the people on that list.
All right, good to know. Just wanted to clarify that because that comes to mind is, you know, you make the show and then all of a sudden she somehow becomes a rocket scientist.
Jim, we sucked that weekend. I got to tell you. I mean, you look at these things, but we really didn't have a good race car. We didn't have a good race car all last year. I mean, truthfully.
13 hundredths of a second from her pass to you being junk.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
I know. You got to look at that,
All
but
right.
it's still part of the process.
Okay.
We still didn't get a win light, did we?
No.
Who is your biggest fan?
Boy, my biggest fan. I mean, I guess the first thing that comes to mind, right, is my dad, right? I mean, that would be the first thing that would come to my mind.
I would only hope so, right?
Yeah, because if you don't give the keys to the truck that you drive the truck, he ain't going nowhere.
Hey, Mia, you're making me sweat up here. I got to tell you, it's great. Yeah, I mean, my dad, he has been next to me for everything. I mean, absolutely everything. Through my whole saga, when I brushed up against the wall at 300 miles an hour and I didn't cross the center line, by the way. I was still in my lane just against the wall. You know, to those things where him and I do climb in our semi together. We've done all of this together, and he is the heart and soul of our race team, and he is absolutely my biggest fan. As you know, truly, he is my biggest hero as well, for sure.
Okay, this is the last question. What is your goal for this year?
So you asked me a great question, Mia. Great job, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
You're
gonna.
hired.
Yeah, you are hired, Jim. You're out. So, do I make those decisions?
I guess you do now. We're live, so yeah. See ya.
So, once again, we have been trying desperately to win Top Fuel NHRA, right? It's the only thing I haven't won. And to do that, we had to make a big change this year. So everyone has asked my dad and I since last October when our next event is. And I haven't been able to give him an answer, and I still can't, due to the fact that my dad and I are having a new car built right now that will allow us 0.05 of a second, right? He talked thousandths of a second, but we need to make some changes. So we are completely, after all these years of collecting parts and pieces for our current race car, we have made a big change in ordering and getting a new chassis. And with that comes a combination of basically everything else that goes along with that. So We have another race team that's helping us out that has seen my dad work really hard and not collect a Wally, and he wants to help us do it. So it's pretty spectacular. So my goal is to, what is our goal, Dad? I think our goal is to just get the car on the racetrack would be a goal.
Yeah, let's get a race car first, yeah.
Is it still going to be called the Rust-Oleum Rocket?
Absolutely. Rust-Oleum is stuck behind us through this process. So, Mia, in this world, you need sponsorship, right? I mean, I don't know if you do. Maybe you got a wealthy dad, but yeah, she needs sponsorship too.
A&A Tire. Buy the tires there so Mia can go race, okay? It's on Highway 100 in Belay.
If everyone chipped in like $50, hang on, let me see. Do I have $50 in my pocket? I probably don't. Hang on, let's see. What do I got? Hang on. Yeah, right, exactly.
Somebody
hang
just
on.
yelled, ask
I got
Dad.
27. There you go. You took it all. There you go. So there's some sponsorship money.
Hey!
Yeah. So, and seriously, you did take all. You want some credit cards? I don't know if there's much money left on these credit cards, quite honestly.
Mia, when they ask you, always say yes. Always say yes when it's a racing opportunity. Yes.
Honestly, I was very proud of her. She just took it. I love that. I absolutely love that. I think
I saw a fist pump in there too.
Yeah. Hang on. Yeah. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
So Rust-Oleum has done very well by us, meaning they really respect what my dad and I are trying to do right now. And they have allowed us to take a little siesta right now and just get our new car and everything organized, go testing, get organized enough to run with the best of the best, and then go racing.
And I'm looking at numbers. We're getting faster. We're getting beyond that number where I understand a few years back, thanks to Dave Hornsey is involved on the show. Now John DiPiazza talking more about drag racing on Racing Roundup. There's a number that Goodyear's like, ooh, I don't know if we can do that. I don't know if we can build that tire. Now we're at 3:33 in top fuel for Brittany's winning pass in Virginia at a 3.770 seconds. John Force at age 76, the week before he turned 76, won the four-wide nationals at Charlotte. He was at 285 miles per hour at the 660 mark. 660 feet down the track, you're going 285, and he ended up going 328 mile per hour and a 3.9 second pass in a funny car. I mean, these are incredible speeds. So as you're chasing this, that's got to be a constant, like, what do we need to do? How can we do this right?
Well, that was the issue, right? The issue is we caught up to everybody with the technology that we had. We caught up to everybody. We were actually outrunning people that had way better equipment than we did. But you can't do that right now. You just can't. We can't keep up with our current situation. Our car was born in 1999. Mia, when were you born? What year were you born?
2011.
There you go. So, needless to say, it's time for some new pipe. Now, that current car that we have, right, has been front halved, it's been back halved, it's been everything. There's nothing original to it other than the spot I sit. But it's time. It's time to step up all of our equipment, which, you know, could end up costing in excess of $500,000.
Okay, now that you sponsor Mia, and that's a big number. Now that you sponsor Mia, Grandpa here, Tony, said that he's got 2 junior dragsters in their race shop right now. So what does she have to key on that you know from your years of experience, Tony, to help her with her junior dragster?
Well, what I did with our junior dragsters is we completely restored both of them, and I put the biggest motor you could possibly put in both of them, which are called, what are they called?
I don't know. You're in charge of that program. I don't even know my own name sometimes, Dad. Are you kidding me?
But anyway, these junior dragsters have motors so big. First time out, they went 73 miles an hour. I didn't even go that fast on the way to the racetrack with the hauler. And these kids at the age of 12 were going 73 miles an hour. They're called Terminator motors. That's what they are, the Terminators. That tells you something right there.
Right. And Mia, how fast do you think you'll get to go this year? Have you guys figured that out yet? Done some top-end speed runs?
50 miles
All right.
an hour.
Okay. All right.
That's pretty stout. You think about that.
Yeah.
50 miles an hour is pretty amazing. That's super cool. Good for you. God, I love this sport.
I'm sure we were illegal with what we did because the kids are not supposed to be going 73 miles an hour. I think it was a 50-mile-an-hour class, but like it's in our blood to go faster, so I made them go as fast as they could.
Looked really good doing it too, I'm guessing. 73 miles an hour. That's a lot of speed. Hey Murph, good to see you. Murph's in the house, everybody. Everybody knows Murph. Thanks for coming to Bobby's. This is awesome. TJ and Tony Zizzo joining us here as well. It's great to have you guys on the show. And Mia, you did awesome. Awesome. You can chime in here if you have another question. It just pops up because we got some time here. I want to know how much you guys pay attention to what is going on. How much time do you guys spend now? You mentioned you're on a siesta, but in reality, you can't step away. You got to be there. How do you consume what you do when it is your turn to drive it?
You know, this is the first time in Zizzo racing history, and we've been doing this since 1980. It's the first time in history we don't have an event scheduled, right? It's the first time in history that we haven't been diligently working all the time on our race car because one is being built. So it's been odd. It's been it almost has fueled me more than I thought it would. Meaning, you know, doing it year in, year out, all the time, occupying all of our time, right? You know, sometimes you take some of that stuff for granted, right? You take being able to drive a top fuel dragster for granted. But now I'm sitting in traffic going to work thinking about driving a race car again, which rekindles my spirit, right? It gets me excited again. I think, holy crap, I do miss it. I miss it more than I thought I would. And to be able to be building a new race car and having new equipment and being able to test it will allow us to be successful at what we're doing. And successful to me is winning. That's success, right? I used to think having fun was success, and it is at a certain level. But when you're at our level, you want to do nothing but turn on win lights. That's the last time I had fun. So it has rekindled my spirit of the sport of drag racing. And I see good things happening in the sport right now. The competition is at a great pace. There's multiple winners per year. No one's dominating it. Speeds have increased. ETs have increased. People are running closer together in time. I mean, you're qualifying from a 365 to a 373. I mean, these are hundredths of a second for 16 cars. So it's exciting. I look forward to being able to stand on the gas again, and I look forward to it more and more every day. I don't know how my dad feels about it. He probably feels like a lost puppy.
Tony, do you still use that phone? Do you call people at the end of the weekend? Do you call them on Saturday morning? Do you check in with your friends that you've known for years in the paddock? How do you keep that formula going when it's your time to get that car just the way you want it?
You know, you think drag racing is the best thing in the world to do, but I got a little story to tell you, okay? I'm okay with waiting for the new race car to come and all the guys working on stuff, but the best thing that happened to me lately was the delivery of my first motorhome.
Motorhome?
My motorhome that's going to be parked next to the semi at the racetrack where I could take over and do what I have to do. They threw me out of the lounge. I had a lounge in my semi all set up for me, a nice quiet lounge and everything. I had my little stove, refrigerator, whatever in there.
Yeah.
They threw me out because the crew chiefs needed a place to play with their computers. So I said, you want the lounge? Go ahead. We'll redo the lounge. I even reupholstered it, did everything they wanted to do, and bought a motorhome so I could have my own place.
Hey, guess what's going to happen?
Yeah, so I got my own place to hang out at now, which will be right next to the semi, and they can do whatever they want. Drag racing is cool, but the motorhome is really cooler.
So then you're going to start having TJ over there with his suit at his waist because it's too hot. So he's going to be sitting in front of your air conditioning in your motorhome. And guess what happens then? Then the crew guys have to come over to talk to TJ about what they need to do between rounds. Then your grandson's going to pop in and out of there a couple times an hour just because he's hungry, because kids get hungry every 5 minutes. And then you're going to say, but this is my space. And they're going to say, thank you. Where's the rest of the freeze pops? And then you have to go out to the store and get some more stuff. That's how I see this evolving very quickly, Tony. Have you thought that far down the road yet?
I think you're completely wrong with that whole subject there. Use the toilet in the lounge, not in my RV.
It is great. And I love my dad because he never sugarcoats anything. I mean, he's exactly right. I mean, he's like, he saw all his entire lounge get dismantled, all for desk space. He didn't understand that. It's great. I love it.
And I saw your smile on your face, TJ. That means you got somewhere to work with your guys when it gets time to go racing. Russ Doyle's been a partner of yours. When you get a chance to go racing, is it going to be at a top fuel meet, or are you going to be racing what I'd call like a regional warm-up kind of thing, or are you going to take passes anywhere before you attack the best of the best?
Yeah, we are absolutely going to rent a racetrack. So okay. Indianapolis is probably what we'll rent. We'll rent the racetrack for the day and make as many laps as we can in order to get the car acclimated. And if we go there and it falls on its face, or I make mistakes or whatever, because drivers make a lot of mistakes, a lot. If I make mistakes or whatever takes place, we will get it right before we go to an event, period. I mean, we want to be able to pull into that event with our chest out, right? I mean, that's what you want to do, and let it rip. So that's the goal. That is the goal.
The headings have been Giant Killer, Underdog, Local Guy Does Good. Now it's going to be, Zizzos are back. Oh, man, they're ready. You've been ready every time.
And for years, Jim, that's exactly what our competition has said, which is amazing to me. This all-volunteer team that pours their heart and soul into it all, spends their weekends and their Tuesdays and their Thursdays, whatever day it is, right? And we go to the racetrack and we out-qualify full-time teams. But we were getting to the point where we weren't doing that. We were now 15, 16, 14 qualifier, and it's not a comfortable place to be. We have qualified for every single event we've been to since 2014 with Rust-Oleum. So I don't want to have a DNQ on that list. You know, that's not somewhere we want to be.
We'll be following it along. ZizzoRacing.com is the website. You can follow TJ Zizzo on Facebook as well. Mia, you did a great job. We wish you well in your first passes coming up real quick here. Thank you.
Well, I have one more question.
All right.
For TJ Zizzo.
Okay. What is it?
When are you going to retire?
Somebody wants your seat, TJ.
I know. My God, she's taking my money and the race car driving steering wheel, you know? Holy cow. You know, that's a great question. That's a question that flashes through my mind as I get older. So my dad, the last time he drove a race car competitively is when basically he was about my age, right? Which is amazing to me. So I took over my dad's seat when he was in his 40s. I'm in my 40s now. My son is 15. I don't have the... I don't know if I'm strong enough to put my kid in a race car yet. You know, my dad was really strong and he could do it, but you know, I also know this is a pretty dangerous sport. So to answer your question, I have to win an NHRA event first. That's what I have to do. So until that point, I'm not going to step out of it. And as I see all these young lions coming through the sport, we'll just see how it all works out. Who knows? Maybe my dad will replace me. That could be.
I still have my NHRA license. I keep it current every year, so it could happen.
As we should. And we're looking forward to seeing that. Zizzo Racing back on the drag strip. Let's give a nice hand for NHRA Top Fuel Racers, TJ and Tony Zizzo. Thank you, Mia DiPiazza. Great job. Great job. Thank you, guys. Make sure you sign our Bob Trader sign around our backdrop as well. We're hanging out here at Bobby's Bar, 14735 West Lisbon Avenue in Brookfield. Come on down, join the racing crowd. Dave Hohensee was glued to that. He's now breathing once again. Glued to those answers back here. We got room for you. Come on down and join the racing crowd. Great giveaways after the show as well. We're coming right back with Charlie from ATD. We also have some father-daughter, father-son chats with racers that are here in the audience as well tonight. So come on up and join the racing crowd at Bobby's Bar. We'll be right back.
Thanks for tuning in to the Racing Roundup Show. Check out our website, racingroundupshow.com, and like our show on Facebook. Join us on Twitter and Instagram at Racing Roundup. We're coming right back after these messages from our awesome show sponsors.
Automatic Transmission Design is located in Germantown, Wisconsin. They've been hard at work the last 15 years in perfecting the best performance racing transmissions and converters. The folks at ATD have made it possible to offer the best quality and most affordably priced winning components for off-road, drag racing, truck pulling, and circle track applications. ATD may not be the biggest or most famous company in the marketplace, but they have the will and put in that extra effort to provide you with the best products available. ATD's certified technicians go through a comprehensive quality checklist on every transmission and converter they build. Then it's tested on their in-house dyno. Only then is the product ready for shipment to the customer. ATD takes these steps to provide you with the best quality products every time. They are 100% guaranteed. Their no returns policy makes sure it's right the first time. The next time you need a performance transmission or converter, give Charlie a call at 262-251-7777 or visit autotransdesign.com.
Interstate Batteries, proud sponsor of the Racing Roundup Show and the number 18 of Joe Gibbs Racing. Interstate Batteries is the #1 replacement battery in North America. You deserve the best, so get the best. Go to interstatebatteries.com. Go to interstatebatteries.com to find a dealer near you. Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable. Get yours today. Race on.
Get your whole family involved in affordable, competitive kart racing at Millwright Raceway in Dousman, Wisconsin, home of the Badger Kart Club. Walk the pit area, talk to racers, and check out the action from the grandstands. There's a play area for the kids and great food at the concession stand. Spectator admission is free. Badger Kart Club points racers and National Touring Series race on the challenging paved road course most Sundays from April through September. Badger Kart Club is well established and well respected. There's 15 classes and over 100 drivers racing every week. From ages 5 to 75, kart racing offers competition for generations of racers of all ages. Bring the kids and check out kart racing for yourself at one of America's finest kart tracks. This is where Alan Kowicki, Danica Patrick, Sam Mayer, and Josh Palicki got their start. Millwright Raceway is just south of I-94 in Dousman, 35 miles west of Milwaukee, and 45 miles east of Madison. For all the latest information, directions, and race schedule, visit BadgerKartClub.com.
The Gravely Mower Series at Olson Outdoor Power is raising the bar on performance with smarter controls, longer run times, and more comfort. Add in layaway and financing from Olson's, and there's no lawn you can't conquer. Buy the best from the best. Gravely at Olson's Outdoor Power, Muskego.
This is America's longest-running weekly motorsports program, held in front of a live audience. Stay up to speed on the Wisconsin racing scene, NASCAR, and the world of motorsports every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central. Thanks for joining us for the Racing Roundup Show. Once again, here is the trackside voice of the Daytona 500 and NASCAR at the track. You see him on MAV TV's live coverage of the Lucas Oil Chili Bowl and the Arca Menard Series. The host of the Racing Roundup Show, Jim Trado.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you again for joining us on this May 24th edition at Racing Roundup headquarters tonight. We're at Bobby's Bar, 14735 West Lisbon Road in Brookfield, just down the road from ATD, Auto Transmission Design. We're going to talk to Charlie McCormick here in a few moments. Dean Strom joins us as well. Some racing got in this weekend, and a lot of racing is yet to come. Dean, welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Jim. It's Bonafide Security Solutions Short Track Report. Bonafide Security Solutions for camera, alarm systems, home or business, program card access, gun safes. It's a lock. Support the racers at Team Bonafide by calling 262-790-9400 or go online, bonafidesafe.com. Bonafide protects what you value. CK Contractors, LLC.com brings us the happenings at Wilmot Raceway. Hire the pros at CK Contractors for Lake Michigan shore restoration, lot grading, excavation, retention pond building, and more. They had off at Wilmot this past Saturday night because the All-Star Sprints and the IRA Sprints were there on Friday.
Yep. You and I went there.
Saw
some
you
rain.
and I went there. We saw two qualifiers, two wing sprint qualifiers. We had a really great visit with Hall of Famer Dick Colburn.
We did.
And his wife Nancy.
Yes.
Had a great visit with our friend Tim Bell.
And Dick Kaiser stopped by. Yep.
Who's probably watching.
Yep.
Hello,
Hi,
Tim. Yeah. But that was about it. That's all we saw before the rain.
I got the grilled cheese. Really good. Gourmet grilled cheese, man.
One thing we did see, though, hot laps and qualifying got in for the Wisconsin wingless. And Jimmy Sivia, one of the top Wisconsin wingless drivers, took a wicked end-over-end tumble in turn number 1. Had to be transported to an area hospital. I was really glad to see this week on Facebook that he posted, hey, I'm sore, but nothing that a couple of days of rest and relaxation can't fix. So that was really good news. This two big Saturdays on the way at Dells Raceway Park. This Saturday, 2 late model divisions will race in the Lyle Nabelfelt Tribute Night. UMA Pro late models and CWRA late models will be joined by Sportsman Bandits, American Super Cups. And then Saturday, June 4th, the biggie, the best Wisconsin and Upper Midwest Super Late Model racers go for 100 laps, $5,000 to win. Dairyland 100, a live for 5 race on June 4th. Gates open at 3, racing at 6. Visit DellsRacewayPark.com for ticket info. This Friday night, Madison International Speedway. Cross your fingers. They should should get their season underway with their season opener. Of course, they had the Joe Scher Classic to kick off the super late model season, but they haven't been able to get their regular Friday
night so far.
Friday night weekly action in. Yeah, double features in every division this Friday night and every Friday night through June at Wisconsin's fastest half mile. More details, misracing.com. Saturday night, I am headed to call the Salute the Troops 100 for the ARCA Midwest Tour at Jefferson Speedway. I'll be there. Stop by, say hi. Visit midwesttour.racing for more information there. If you can't attend, I'm going to be on the call, midwesttour.tv. Good production, if I do say so.
Good free plug right there, Dean.
Mighty Badger Midget Auto Racing Association, Sunday night, Angel Park Speedway in Sun Prairie. Jack Routson was the victor. Point leader Brandon Welty led the first 11 laps, hung on for a second. Jake Newman raced from 22nd to 7th. Blue Mound Express-backed racer Fast Jack Vanderboom raced up from 24th all the way to 13th in the A-Main. An A-Main that was cut short due to their curfew. 2 nights of sprint car racing did get in, IRA All-Star Challenge. Saturday night at Plymouth, Bill Baylog, Anderson's Pure Maple Syrup.
Huge
win. Big win. Huge second-place finisher, Danny Schlafer.
Could be huger, really.
On the big stage.
Against the All-Stars and the IRA. Yeah.
Yeah, Schlafer Auto Body represented there. And then Scotty Thiel, he's on our show next week. He finished 3rd. So Wisconsin proud podium sweep Saturday night. Sunday night at Angel Park Speedway. $6,000 to win. Hunter Schoenberg, the winner, All-Star regular. Justin Peck, Parker Price Miller. Bill Baylog finished 4th. Did you see what happened to him?
No.
He was running second, battling with Justin Peck for the lead. They had a caution. He comes in under caution because he had a flat right rear. They had put so many guys a lap down, he restarted at the back of the tail end of the field, but he was still 10th.
Oh.
Drove up to 4th in the final laps. He was coming at me. He was hauling the mail. And then Tyler Courtney rounded out the top 5. Jeff Holtz held off a determined Ryan Gutnick to win the 50-lap Pro Late Model feature Sunday afternoon at the Slinger Super Speedway, while Dennis Prunty, victorious once again in the 602 Outlaw Late Model main event. That was their first time, the 602 Outlaws, that they had been to Slinger. Dennis Prunty and Chris Radicek, they got that 602
They're 3 for 3 this year
out.
in that series. Yeah, they're doing okay.
Yeah, night racing returns this Sunday night at Slinger Super Speedway, along with the super late models and fireworks. And did I hear before we have tickets?
Yeah, tonight. Win them after the show.
Excellent.
Slinger Super Speedway tickets.
Robert Ballou became a 3-time Holman Classic winner Sunday night at Terre Haute Action Track. Ballou passed leader Logan Seavey with just 7 circuits remaining to claim the USAC Sprint Car win. And last week, Wednesday night, Marshalltown, Iowa, Flow Racing Night in America, Hudson O'Neill cashed the big check. Cool racetrack. Awesome race.
Yeah, a lot of good racing going on, and make sure you support your local racers. Set your DVRs. This portion of our show is brought to you by BMRE Electric Carts in Random Lake. Brad Miller is Wisconsin's only Icon dealer and has in-stock inventory and customizing options available right now on their Facebook page, BMRE Electric Carts Company. Don't know if ATD can help them, but I'm guessing if you want to go faster than anything, talk to our next guest here. Let's welcome in Charlie McCormick from ATD. Charlie, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jim.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
When you walked in, the first thing I asked you, said, how are things going? You said, to the walls. Blank to the walls. My goodness.
It's crazy.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, it's very good.
What you been working on, Charlie?
The winter's been really just trying to catch up with a lot of stuff that we didn't get finished towards the tail end of last season, and preparing for the upcoming season of racing. A tremendous amount of drag race work, tremendous amount. Some of it's due to just more drag racers are now actually able to field cars and can afford to do this.
Okay.
And we've kind of like leveled the playing field in off-road, so if you don't have my stuff, well, then
you ain't going to win.
You ain't going to win. So we have a very solid off-road racing base, customers that rely on us to supply them with equipment that's going to make them go through the whole season. The off-road stuff is nationwide. The drag race stuff, we do have some national exposure, but it's mostly local stuff. Michael has worked diligently to bring products to the market.
That's your son, Michael. Yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
To bring products to the market for drag racers that appeal and fix a lot of the problems across the board. We have 9 different Turbo 400 valve bodies that we produce in-house.
You produce in-house. So the D in design, the D stands for design. So you guys are actually working with racers, trying your own, putting it on the bench, getting it right, and saying, guys, try this. That's going to save you a ton of time and headaches.
That's correct.
Use our stuff.
So one of the things, a little feather in our cap that we had, I don't know if your audience pays attention to some of the stuff that goes on in the internet, but Brad DeBerti is a former off-road customer of ours, and he and his dad build specialty vehicles for showcasing stuff. Their newest vehicle is what they call the C10 Slayer. The C10 Slayer has 2 live axles in the back.
Oh my!
Its primary purpose is it's a showboat car. They want to do burnouts with this thing. They struggled mightily with this truck. They ordered a 4L80 overdrive transmission from us and had a guy in North Carolina program this thing to get it to work. And Brad's like, I can't stand the way this thing works. It shifts when I don't want it to, on and on and on. So they sent that transmission back to us. We put in one of our brand new billet 4L80 reverse pattern valve bodies, which you pick the gear, that's the gear you get. And they fixed the suspension problems in the truck. Brad called me after they debuted what was going on there, and he goes, this thing is the most wicked transmission I have ever worked on. And this is a customer.
In a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A customer of mine that he knows what we produce for racing stuff. He goes, this thing is even more intense than any of the Turbo 400s you built for me when I was racing Pro Light. We decided that we would have a video guy come in and actually allow us to showcase what we did for their transmission.
Sure, yeah.
For their big YouTube guys.
Yep.
Brad released a 23-minute video that explains all of the problems with this and used a good segment, 3 or 4 minutes of our video to help showcase what we do to help bring their stuff. That kind of exposure is what Michael has been working on hard to broaden our base so that we're not relying on just local stuff, and the only national exposure we have is with off-road trucks. There's nothing wrong with off-road trucks, but it's a small pool, and we've splashed all the water out of the pool, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And we have now products that allow us to go from a fast bracket car all the way to a guy that can run a 4-second eighth-mile pass in a drag car. The Coverts are here. They've been lifelong customers of mine. I mean, I dare you to break one of my Power Glides, honestly. We have an in-house converter development program now going on where we're working with another manufacturer to develop bolt-together torque converters. Bolt-together torque converters are something that the drag race community wants because they want to make changes to the torque converter at the track, given track conditions, weather, whatever it may be. And some of these guys are running a fairly narrow power band that has to be matched precisely. Or it's like, hey, 300 horse shot of nitrous is not enough. I need a 500 shot of horse.
And that only twerks everything like from front to rear, and there's little spiny things that cause a lot of damage if it's not done right, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
just
correct.
a guess.
Well, no disrespect to racers, but they're not torque converter builders. But if that's what you want to do and you want to spend your money, go for it, brother.
Come to ATD in Germantown.
I'm very proud of the products that we're able to produce locally. We're absolutely dependent upon domestic manufacturers to provide us with raw materials. It's been a huge problem. It's going to be a huge problem. I'll tell you right now, if you want any kind of racing product and have not placed your order, you better plan on having a car on jack stands, because you're probably not going to be satisfied until the very tail end of the year.
I was going to say maybe even just for the season. I heard some engine builders in Lucas Law late model dirt. I was there, and it's a year wait if you need a new piece, and who knows how long the rebuild will take because the parts aren't there.
I had a customer bring me a torque converter and a transmission in November, and he's like, the engine's getting built, I'm waiting on pistons, fix my trans, I'll come pick it up and leave the converter here until we get it. The converter is still in the shop, cut open, waiting for him to get pistons so that they can build the engine to dyno it to tell me what to do with the torque converter. I don't really think this guy's going to hit the track at all this year, and it's kind of sad, but I'm as handcuffed as anybody is in this business. One of my vendors called me in late March and said, if you need shafting input shafts, output shafts, whatever it is, order it now because we just got notice from the mill that we won't have raw materials until the end of July.
Whoa. Wow.
So we're all seeing the catch up from the things that happened when we decided to turn the switch off when COVID hit.
Yep.
And without getting into a political discussion,
Right.
I'm not
Yep.
going to go there, but
Yep.
that's the reality of the situation. It makes a lot of what I have to do very difficult because I got a guy that wants to go to the track and do whatever he wants to do, or he wants to take his streetcar out and go beat the heck out of it, or a diesel truck that needs at least as much high-performance equipment as any drag car does, and I can't satisfy these people because I can't get my hands on the raw materials. We've expanded our base to try to create a larger pool. Sometimes it means you got to pay more. But if you really want the stuff and I can give you a product that I can stand behind, the most important thing that I can stand behind it, then we'll do that. Knock on wood, we've been very, very lucky that we've been able to satisfy 99% of our customer base.
Charlie McCormick joining us from Automatic Transmission Design, a friend of ours. Dave Honesy said, let's get Charlie on the show. That was 20-some years ago. You're still part of our program. Thank you. We're also not far from where your shop is. And you guys are busy because people that want to buy new cars, they can't find them. They don't want to sell their car because they can't buy a used one.
Right.
So I'm sure the ASE certified technicians in your shop are as busy as you brainiacs designing race car parts.
100%. It's pretty rare that we were able to turn the vehicle over. If you bring me a car or truck today and say, I need something done to my transmission, and we determine, okay, it needs to be overhauled, you will not have your car for 2 weeks, bare minimum. It's just, it takes that long to get the parts. It takes that long to be able to turn over the cars that are in front of you to be able for us to service it. And if you have an import vehicle, you can probably double that time, just because all of the import stuff is dependent upon the transition of materials coming off of a boat from one of the coasts.
Yeah.
And the new transmissions that are out there, you know, in our world, a new transmission was built in 2010. So that's a 10-year-old transmission. All of these transmissions are now, the price to fix them is escalated so quickly that a lot of people get sticker shock, and we get that the reaction all the time. Really, it's that much? Yeah, really, it's that much. And then they'll hang up the phone and they'll call GM or Ford or whoever it is, and they're like, okay, when can I bring my truck in?
And I'll be the testimonial guy right now. My son's Acura. It's a 2007 TL. We brought it to ATD. He had a couple things he wanted to get done on it, but they also had this little tracing electrical issue. You guys traced it to the right side passenger seat lever, the electric thing that made the seat go back and forth, and it also affected the right rear door lock. It wouldn't work properly. You said to me, I'm not giving you that car back till we find out what's wrong with that.
Right.
I mean, that's the detailed stuff that people want to know more about and
Right.
say, hey, I'm not just going to quick cash it all. You got a brake job? Got a brake job? Okay, let's say this. No, you guys are like, we got to make sure this works. Hey, we found that, Jim. I need another day. We want to make sure it's right. I admire you for that.
Well, and thank you. I appreciate that. And a lot of it comes down to it. Honestly, it was a safety issue for your son's Acura, because if he gets locked out of this thing, and it was wintertime when we were working on this thing, in winter in Wisconsin, what do we know about that?
It's still here, for goodness sake. Yeah.
I had a customer come to me with a beautiful 87 El Camino. He broke the ring and pinion in it, among other things. And he's like, just look this thing over and make sure everything's okay. It's set up with the big wheels, and we went through this stuff trying to source parts for a car that's in 87, which 87, I graduated from high school in 78. This is not an old car in my world, but it really is.
Yeah.
We looked at the front brakes on this thing, and somebody had changed the rotor, the lug nuts in the rotor, to allow him to run these larger wheels. And the rotor was literally 50 thousandths thick.
Wow.
So I called him up. I said, you can't have your car back. And he goes like, but why? I said, because if I give this to you, you will die. I said, I cannot release this vehicle. It's unsafe for you to do it. And to try to find rotors for an 87 El Camino, let me tell you, that is not an easy job. We found them, got them. Summit had them in stock, shipped in, and the guy was very, very happy that we did this and very appreciative of the fact that we went the extra mile to make sure that it cost him another couple $100 in 3 or 4 days. But I'm constantly amazed at how many corners get cut in our business, and honestly, I think that's what drives some of the work our way, is that people have begun to trust us for being above board and honest and have their best interests at heart. We absolutely do have their best interests at heart.
We're at Bobby's Bar, 14735 West Lisbon for tonight's show, but we're not too far from ATD. Tell us where you're at and how people can find you and say, I want my car done right.
We're about 5 miles up the road. If you go north on Pilgrim, you'll just about run into us. We're, as the crow flies, from Pilgrim and County Line Road, exactly 1 mile on Fond du Lac Avenue, Highway 145. I've been there for 32 years, and it's expanded since I went in there. It was just me and Hipster working by ourselves, and now we've got 10 guys that come to work every day, and they believe what we have, and I'm very, very fortunate that I have technicians that are dedicated to what we do. They believe in what we do, and it's afforded me a lot of flexibility to do this, to come up with new racing components. We would like to be able to service the community, the broad community as a whole. And I like the fact that I see people coming out of Milwaukee into my shop because they don't trust whatever else is going on in Milwaukee. We get people from all over the 5-county area to come and see us for work, whether it's on their regular daily driver, their classic car, their donk, their tow vehicle. I mean, we do all of this stuff with the passion to be able to help people do what they want to do. And that's really what it's all about. Our passion is the racing stuff, and if we had to rely on racing, I wouldn't have 10 people working for me.
Auto Trans Design. I always learn something when we talk to our friend Charlie. Give it a nice hand for Charlie McCormick, Automatic Transmission Design in Germantown. Thank you, Charlie, for all you're doing, helping our show and helping the racers that you do.
Thanks, Jim. I greatly appreciate it.
Really have fun talking to you every time. So you mentioned Joe Covert earlier as a lifelong customer. Well, Joe's here with his son, Chad. We're talking to them. We're also going to talk to Joe Pollack and his daughter, Crystal. We got a lot more to talk about. We're hanging out at Bobby's Bar. We got a bunch of racers. We're chilling. We got some giveaways after the show. Join the racing crowd. We're at Bobby's Bar tonight. We'll be right back after these words.
Join the racing crowd every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central all season long. Contact us on our website, racingroundupshow.com. We'll be right back with more of the Upper Midwest and Wisconsin racing scene, NASCAR, and the world of motorsports.
Greenfield Gallery wants to buy your racing collection. Do you have die-cast cars from IndyCar, Sprint Car, or short tracks? Greenfield Gallery wants them. If you have old racing programs, racing photos, and negatives, Greenfield Gallery wants those too. Contact Ralph Hibbert Jr. at Greenfield Gallery, who wants to buy your racing collection. Ralph also has an ever-changing eBay store full of racing collectibles. Search Greenfield Gallery. Email Ralph right now to get connected. His email address is ralph@greenfieldgallery.net.
Bobby Gutnick and the technicians at Oak Creek Automotive on South 27th Street in Drexel are experts in automotive repair. For over 30 years and counting, the Napa Certified Car Care Center at Oak Creek Automotive handles emissions testing plus minor to major repair, from oil changes to engine and transmission replacement. Call Oak Creek Automotive, 414-761-3250. They're open for your convenience Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. till 9 p.m., and Friday, 7 a.m. till 6 p.m. For all your vehicle repair needs, head to South 27th Street and Drexel to the pros at Oak Creek Automotive.
Danny Lynch's at the corner of Highway 100 and Lincoln is a great place to watch NASCAR races, Packer games, Brewer games, and to meet up with your friends. Joey and Jim Lynch pride themselves on their friendly hospitality and welcome Racing Roundup listeners to stop in to watch all the races on their 14 TVs and flat screens. Danny Lynch's at the corner of Highway 100 and Lincoln has been a longtime supporter of racers, including National Road Racing Motorcycle Champion Dan Volansky. Relax around the big neighborhood bar with 2 pool tables and dartboards surrounded by TVs. Whether you're meeting up before the game, want to watch the races with race fans, or just want to grab a cold one, head to Danny Lynch's at the corner of Highway 100 and Lincoln and West Dallas.
D&H Sales and Service is Sheboygan County's largest steel and outdoor power equipment dealer. Since 2003, owner Brad Dahmer and D&H Sales and Service strives to offer you the best brands with leading manufacturers such as Aaron's, Gravely, Ferris, Simplicity, Snapper, Steel, Wright, and Toro. Each brand is backed by a stocked parts department and the highest level of customer service. All of our inventory is online at SheboyganPowerCenter.com, and when you buy from D&H, you'll be shown how to safely operate your ready-to-use equipment. We have over 80 feet of steel display, and we have over 75 pieces of steel equipment in stock. D&H is Sheboygan County's only Briggs & Stratton diamond dealer with a master service technician and factory-trained service department. D&H Sales and Service is conveniently located off of I-43 in Sheboygan and is an authorized service and warranty center for most brands on the market. We'll service almost any brand of small engine equipment. Call us for details at 920-458-1865. D&H Sales and Service also offers pickup and delivery to Sheboygan, Manitowoc, and Ozaukee counties. Search D&H Sales and Service on Facebook or log on to SheboyganPowerCenter.com today.
And we're back on the Racing Roundup Show. Thanks for joining us here on this program. We've got a lot more for you every Tuesday night here on our RacingRoundupShow.com website. Join us on Facebook Live. Like our show on Facebook as well. The Midwest Truck Series is back in action this Monday afternoon, Memorial Day at Golden Sands Speedway. Will James Swan keep a 6-point lead over Kevin Canesi after this Monday's Memorial Day Special 30? Well, head out to the track and find out in Plover. The Midwest Truck Series is supported by Widener Automotive and Pathfinder Chassis. Check out MidwestTruckSeries.com. We now have a couple more guests hanging out with us. This is the Anderson's Maple Syrup Racing Spotlight. Dun, dun, dun. Father-daughter racing here. You ready for this? We don't tell you Anderson's is awesome on your coffee or in your coffee or tea or on ice cream. Take it with you with Pure Fuel Maple Energy on the go. Anderson's Maple Syrup is delicious. AndersonMapleSyrup.com is the website address. We now have a couple of guests here right next to me. I want to thank them, and let's welcome in with a big round of applause Joe Pollock and his daughter Crystal. Guys, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
We're dropping things like, well, the Pollocks have been involved with ATD, that kind of stuff. It's kind of cool having that company right up the road, isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, we've been running Charlie stuff for 31 years now. It always works great. We never have no issues. Can't say nothing but great stuff about Charlie.
You've been on our show, but it's been, what, maybe 15, 20 years?
A good 15, I would say, yeah.
So is your daughter racing then, as she is now?
No, she back then she was too young to race.
She's like, no, Dad, I was racing my lawn chair with wheels on it down the sidewalk because you were racing your car. It has to be fun knowing that you guys are still at this as a family.
Yeah, they grew up at the racetrack, both my son and daughter. My son ran junior dragsters for 10 years, and then he kind of went on to live life a little bit and break away. He didn't fit in a race car because he's a much bigger boy than me. In order for that to happen, we'd have to completely redo the cage and stuff. So a couple of years later, Crystal, she actually started racing snowmobiles on the strip. She did that for a few years. She actually won a Wally before I did.
Wow.
Awesome. So it's been in her blood. It's a family thing for us. If you remember way back when my dad was on the show with us, he passed in 2010, but it's been in our blood since I was a little kid, and she went to the racetrack when she was probably 7-8 months old, and lived at the racetrack on weekends like most of us did.
All right, Crystal, like we asked TJ Zizzo about his run to Top Fuel, you started running down the sidewalk thinking you're timing yourself, and then all of a sudden you got something to drive and race. It's a snowmobile on the drag strip. How many different variations of drag cars and snowmobiles have you raced to this point in your life?
I raced the high school class in a Cavalier. And
Probably dominated. Front-wheel drive.
I don't remember.
Right.
I think I only raced a couple races.
Okay.
And then the snowmobile, I only raced one snowmobile. I rode a couple of them, but actual racing, I only raced one snowmobile, and then Dad's car.
And
so not too many.
Where and how did you win your Wally, which is the big old Wally Parks trophy with a big wheel on it?
Yeah,
Not too many people have those around here.
No, it was at Union Grove. I don't remember what weekend it was, but they actually had to combine the bike snowmobile class. We had to run off with the street class. So the box and no box classes ran off for their Wally. The bike snowmobile ran off against the street class, and I won it.
And Joe, what were you doing when she was obviously going to hit the win light? What were you thinking? What were you doing? Where were you?
I was at the starting line watching. And when you have an opportunity to win, she already won her class, but then she had to run off for the Wally. That's kind of big in a sportsman category that we run. So I was at the starting line watch, and it was a great day.
Joe, what are you racing now? What are you working on?
I'm still racing the same car I've been for 31 years.
Wow.
Yeah, we still got the same car. We've tweaked it over the years, but we know the car top and bottom for maintenance, it's pretty simple to check for maintenance, weekly maintenance, because I know what to look for, where to look for it. And she also drives the same car. I run a 860 index class with it, and then she runs the bracket program.
And Crystal, I have some information from John DiPiazza that you raced against Stefan Liss, who we had on the show. His kids are racing now. And we also had John in my ear just before we came back from our commercial break saying, ask her about first round last time we raced against each other. How much fun is that racing against these guys and stepping in and saying, dude, I'm here to beat you?
Yeah. I don't know that it's fun racing against them.
Why?
It's fun being in the staging lanes against them, but you never want to race someone that you're friends with,
Gotcha.
especially not first round.
But in bracket racing, it's cutthroat, right?
It's fun. It was Stefan and I went head to head for the points at the very last race. We didn't race each other, but right up to the combo final of the last race, we were tied for first, and he was in the combo final, and he won the combo final and bumped ahead of me by 5 points.
Wow.
So it was well deserved. He deserved it. I'm glad he got it.
Made him earn it.
Yep. Yeah. It was fun. It was fun.
He actually had a rough day with the car. He was fighting the car, but he kept on fighting and plugging along. We actually waited for him one round because he wasn't sure if he could make the next round, but that's the kind of racers we are. We don't want to take advantage when you can. You try to help people as much as you can. He came around and won the round and eventually won the race.
Yeah.
Joe, what's your schedule going to be going forward here?
I race once a month with the 860 Index program. We already went out once this year.
How'd you do?
Low car count, but we won that race.
Hey, good prop there. Good prop there, daughter.
The old geezer still got something in him every now and then. He can still pull one out. And then Crystal races. She'll race a little bit more than me. She races the 4th and 5th of June. And then I think she's got one more race at the end. We are not chasing the big money races yet because we're a family operation. Entry fees pretty expensive for that stuff. When she's ready to tackle the big money, we'll chase a few of them.
And Crystal, when is the next opportunity you get to go for money in a bracket race?
I'll be going June 4th and 5th.
And then what's the one after that? Or is it a matter of what?
I think we have a weekend off.
Okay.
And then the end of the month again.
All right.
Is us again.
So it's not every week, which is good, but Dad's doing a lot of maintenance throughout that. What's your role on the team? Are you there with Dad mechanically, or are you there just saying, hey, I want to help, but I don't,
Dad is
very,
very particular about how he does things.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a pretty picky guy. So.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'll stand back and watch, but there's not much. I drive.
And where can we follow you on social media so we know where you're racing? When you get to race and Dad gets to race, Crystal?
It's just my name, Crystal Gale.
Okay.
Just on Facebook or Instagram, same thing. He's not on either one of those things, but we're at Great Lakes Dragway. If schedule works, we go out to Byron for some of their races. But most of the time we're at Great Lakes Dragway.
Joe, have you gotten down the new Great Lakes Dragway yet?
Yeah, that's the race we won out 2 weeks ago.
Great.
We won it on the new track.
What do you think?
It was awesome for us. I mean, it worked really well for us. It moved around a little bit, but I mean, it's a fresh green track. The rubber ain't built up yet, but it still was pretty consistent. In our game, that's what it's got to be, is consistent. When you run index and bracket program, you're squeezing stuff within thousandths of a second at the finish line. So the track worked awesome for us.
We appreciate you guys coming on. Any sponsors you want to make sure we mention before we turn you loose here and a big crowd here at Bobby's?
My primary sponsor is Weeza Engine Service. He's a good friend of mine. He's been doing our motors for 30-plus years.
It's working.
We're
winning.
We're working on a new motor, but like Charlie said, it's hard to get parts. So we started back in December getting parts. We got most of our stuff now. We're still waiting on a block, and that's probably 4 months out is what they're telling us. But our motor's still good for this year. And if we have to, we can refresh it one more time if we have to. But, stuff needs to be, changed over. If you wait too long, things come apart.
Gotcha. Crystal, anyone you want to thank or recognize?
The family, Joe's Plumbing Service. They're a big sponsor. That's Dad.
Great.
Uncle Roger, he's there for every single race. Without him, we're lost.
Yeah, he's the guy that is the meticulous one when it comes to the electronics in the car. And in this day and age, there's a lot of electronics. Everything works off a laptop these days, and he's got that handled. That just makes a world of difference when you have somebody that can work with the electronics and the computer and make things happen.
It's great to see you guys here as a family, and you got the right thing going on. You got a win light, and in a couple weeks, it's Crystal's turn to win another one.
All we can do is hope. She had a great year last year. It takes a little bit, when you get back in it in spring, it takes a little bit of
trust,
time to get back into the car and get things working, like you normally would. But Johnny strapped a pretty tough light on her on the starting line first round Sunday, so that was kind of hard to overcome. But
so that's why you wanted to bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
I'm
exactly
sorry,
why I wanted
Crystal.
to
I'm
bring it
really
up.
sorry now. He's not even here smiling. I think he's smiling over here somewhere.
He earned it.
Yeah.
I could have pulled it out, but that new track. That little voice in my head said, "Come on, just pedal it a little bit. Just pedal it a little bit." Well, that was a little too much.
You can't win if you go red, so you got to be able to go green. So John earned it. He did a great job. It's just another little learning lesson you figure out, and you know what to do next time.
How about I say it for Joe Pollock and his daughter, Crystal Gale, racers joining some time with us here at Bobby's. Thank you guys for coming on the show. Greatly appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun having Joe back on the show and Crystal being on the show. And looking forward to seeing you at a show coming up. Our Tuesday night schedule, it's filling up. Look at our schedule page on RacingRoundupShow.com. We're at Bobby's Bar tonight, back at Polly's Pub and Eatery next week, back with our final guests, the Coverts, and Dave Hohensee making an appearance here yet tonight on the Racing Roundup Show. Stick around.
Join the racing crowd every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central all season long. Share what you love about short track racing on our Facebook page and on Twitter and Instagram at Racing Roundup. We'll be right back with more of the Racing Roundup Show.
Eliminate the hassles of planning a trip to the races. Hook up with Boring Bob's escorted NASCAR racing tours. Boring Bob offers transportation, lodging, race tickets, nightlife, shuttle service, and more. Boring Bob knows all the back roads into and out of the racetrack to get you in and out fast. Pick one or pick them all. Go in style to Daytona, Bristol, Phoenix, Las Vegas, and more. He has decades of experience and industry contacts galore. You name the race, let Boring Bob do the rest. Call Boring Bob today to make plans now to go on one of Boring Bob's famous escorted NASCAR racing tours. Boring Bob's always at 414-321-1307. That's 414-321-1307.
The NASCAR Cup Series returns to Elkhart Lakes Road America this 4th of July weekend. The NASCAR Quick Trip 250, presented by Jockey Made in America, and the NASCAR Xfinity Series Henry 180 guarantees high-speed thrill and endless family fun. Enjoy the family fun zone, camping on site, and free admission for kids 16 and under with a paying adult. Don't wait. Get your tickets today at roadamerica.com. Road America, your national park of speed.
Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment is a fully equipped parts, sales, and service dealer of quality mowers, snow throws, trimmers, chainsaws, and more. Olson services what they sell, does warranty service work on big box store mowers, and their expert service technicians are ready to get your equipment running right. Put their stock parts department and friendly, knowledgeable staff to work for you. Visit the racers at Olson's Outdoor Power Equipment today at 14323 West College Avenue, just 1 mile east of Moreland Road in Muskego. Olson'sPower.com. Olson's Power Equipment.
Polly's Pub and Eatery at 81st Street and Greenfield Avenue serves up Milwaukee's best pizza, outstanding wings, and a great pub menu. Polly's Kitchen is open late every night with great nightly specials. Polly's has a shuttle bus to all Brewers games. Party on the patio this summer with Polly. Polly's has 18 flat-screen TVs to catch all of your favorite sports. Stay up to speed and download Polly's mobile app and receive a free 22-ounce tap beer. Polly'sPubandEatery.com. Have you partied with Polly?
427-1000 American Foundation. Cracks and leaks in your basement, have no fears. We've been fixing those things for over 60 years. Trust and dedication, that's American Foundation.
Call American right now for huge savings.
427-1000, American Foundation.
When we decided to get our crack leaky basement done, I am so glad we called American Foundation. It gave us a sense of confidence, and it gave us our basement back.
And it was the right choice.
Thank you very much.
American Foundation Specialist has been fixing basements since 1947. Satisfied customers are the future at American. Call American for huge savings at
427-1000, American Foundation.
And we're back on the Racing Roundup Show. Join us every Tuesday all summer long through September on racingroundupshow.com. Click on our schedule page. Contact us if you want to be involved in the show as a guest or want to give away some cool prizes like TJ Zizzo's engine parts and team shirts he gave us tonight. We have Slinger tickets tonight to give away. Next week, we're back at Polly's Pub and Eatery. And in tonight's In the Groove with Bill Holland, we take you to the Wimmer family's State Park Speedway in Wausau. You hear from Midwest Truck Series drivers Kenny Justin, Jeff Holtz, and winner Bryce Miller. Plus, the Super Lates were in action. We have here from Jeremy Lupak and Justin Mondyke in this In the Groove segment with Bill Holland.
1000.
Hi, I'm Bill Holland in the Groove at State Park Speedway, where it's opening night at the quarter-mile oval located at the foot of Rib Mountain, just west of Wausau, Wisconsin. Racing here goes back more than 60 years, and tonight that tradition continues with the Midwest Truck Series. They've been racing here for more than a decade and always put on a show at State Park Speedway. Northern Illinois veteran Kenny Justin is one of 24 drivers in the Midwest Truck Series field here.
I like the short tracks like this. Puts a lot of challenge in what you're trying to do and what you can accomplish, and there's no easy way about doing it. So that's the most challenging part and the funnest part of it.
Fast qualifying time goes to Franksville, Wisconsin's Jeff Holtz, quickest on the stopwatch in the black 38.
Every track has their own characteristics, and you need to make your own changes, and it helps. We know a lot of people from the past, and like up here, we use Lyle Nowak. He's been around for a long time, gave us a few pointers, and it seems like his advice worked.
Super late models have a long and proud tradition here at State Park Speedway. On opening night, it's former track champion Jeremy Lepak setting fast time in a brand new race car.
Larry and Judy decided they wanted to build a new car in off-season, change brands, go a different direction, and so we've been working really hard since January. Brand new Toby car. Toby's been awesome to work with so far, so hopefully we get going back in the right direction and get up front more consistent.
First super late model feature of the season has 4 State Park Speedway champions in the field, and another pair of drivers who've won super late championships at neighboring racetracks. Jerry Brickner in the 9 and Jason Weinkoff in the 76 up front as we go green. It's Weinkoff out of Merrill, Wisconsin, leading Brickner. Former track champion M.G. Gajewski in the 22 and current State Park title holder Justin Mondyke in the 44. No one in the state of Wisconsin has more super late model feature wins in the past 2 years than Justin Mondyke. And the 44 is on the move again. He will take the lead from Jason Weinkoff. Battle in the top 10 between Race Hayes in the 02 and M.G. Gajewski. Contact and the 02 goes around. Up front, Justin Mondyke has the field covered. The 2-time defending track champion holding off Jason Weinkoff for the feature win on opening night.
Made a lot of changes throughout the day and tried to find some more speed as best as we could. And I felt like we were pretty good in practice. Made a few changes for qualifying and qualified good. We qualified second. Made a few other changes for the heat race, and it was really, really good. And just made a few minor things for the feature, and it was really good through traffic. It was good on the outside. It was really a fun car to drive tonight.
Midwest Truck feature has Kevin Zilozinski in the 38 and Cody Hubert on the front row, leading the field to the green flag. It's Hubert in the 20, the Utica, Wisconsin driver taking the early lead. James Lynch in the 76, Zilozinski in the 38, and chasing them a very fast field of truck drivers. Lynch in second with Columbus, Wisconsin's Bryce Miller up to third in the 11, and the 38 goes around. Kevin Zilozinski in the wall. And more trucks involved. Alex Broseth in the 17, Tyler Noble in the 7, Tom G. Jr. in the 29. We'll restart with Cody Hubert and Bryce Miller on the front row. A lot of racing left. Plenty of laps to decide this one. Miller takes the lead in the 11. He won this race last year and feels right at home at State Park Speedway. Can he go back-to-back here in the Midwest Truck Series? James Lynch will get by Hubert to take over the second spot, but no one is chasing down Bryce Miller. He will wheel the 11 to his second straight truck feature win at State Park Speedway and his first victory of 2022. Bryce Miller caps off his night by celebrating with a Polish victory lap.
This place has treated me very well. It really fits my driving style, just being patient and poised, and really got to let it roll and get a good drive off and save your tires. And I think that really fits my style. We had a really good truck tonight. It seemed like we were all right during the day, and it seemed like every time we came in, we made 2 to 3 adjustments and just kept trying to get better. And I think at the end, we were pretty good.
You hear a lot of talk of how competitive the Midwest Truck Series is. Well, we have 4 different winners in the first 4 feature events of 2022. I'm Bill Holland. Thanks for watching, and thanks to everyone who makes our program possible. We'll see you next time we go in the groove on the Racing Roundup Show.
Thanks, Bill. Great coverage there. Bryce Miller, a guest on our show a couple weeks back. Congrats to him and his family team. It's now time to turn things over to another racing family. We got some time. We're hanging out here at Bobby's Bar. They ain't going nowhere. We got some great giveaways after our show. As we roll on here, we welcome back Dave Hohensee and the father-son duo of Joe and Chad Covert. Guys, welcome to the Racing Roundup Show.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim. Great to be back. See all my friends. I miss you guys.
It was a really easy text to Dave Hohensee saying, "Hey, Dave, we're coming up to Bobby's. You want to hang out with us?" He's like, "Yeah." What do you want me to do? I said, "I don't know. Drink beer." I don't know.
Well,
you don't drink beer.
I asked, am I on the tab? You said yes. That sealed the deal right there.
Joe, you've been racing for a while. We heard your name earlier from Charlie with ATD. You must like his stuff. He said you've been a customer forever.
Oh, yeah. You can go back to Hipster. You know, the original guy, Hipster, and I have been together for 50 years. I mean, 50 years, you guys. Long time. So, great company.
And I'm also supposed to ask you because John DiPiazza is like my, pseudo question asker. His daughter already took my job, but he said, "Hey, ask Joe about how serious he is about making his coffee." And sometimes you make your coffee, and then sometimes you hop out, and maybe the car is still rolling or something like that. Tell me more details.
I think Chad could tell that one better.
All right, Chad, what's the story?
This is an epic story, and I think it dates back to when we had like a Dodge Franklin motorhome where it was like the van front, and so I think I was like 3 or 4 years old.
So it's a motorhome.
Yes.
Okay.
I think I was 3 or 4. My sister might have been 5 or 6, and we slept up on the overhang. And I was awake, and I looked down, and I see my dad. We're driving. I don't even know what race we're going to, but I see my dad in the middle of the motorhome holding onto the end of a broom. The end of the broom handle was in the steering wheel of the motorhome. And I don't think it was coffee, but we're going to go with that just because we're on TV here. But so imagine 60 miles an hour hauling a race trailer, and he is steering with a broom while he's back at the broom or at the the coffee maker.
The kitchenette, the coffee maker.
The coffee maker getting a 12-ounce coffee. So I think I pretended I was still sleeping, but that story has carried the years.
So Joe, I guess when you're thirsty, you got to load the car. You got to make sure everybody's ready to go. You're thirsty, you got to get something to drink.
You might get thirsty. That could happen. Yes, sir.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun hanging out with these guys. I just met you guys tonight. But, Dave, I know you've known the Coverts for a while.
I've known them for quite a while. I remember Joe used to travel around chasing NHRA with Sheldon Gecker from the area, who's now in Arizona.
Pro Gas, man.
Yes,
the old Velcro car. Absolutely.
And I have to ask you, there's another rumor that I've heard that when you were traveling, and a lot of times you would have to travel at night, because you're trying to get to a racetrack somewhere, that one of your techniques for staying awake was that you would roll down the driver's window, stick your ponytail out, roll the window back up, so that when your head started to bob, you would wake up. Is that true?
Oh, yeah, that's true. And Shelley, one night we were traveling from Georgia to Bowling Green, and he says to me, "There's a Michelin man jumping off the bridge." I said, "It's time to stop, Shelley." And that's the truth.
Chad Covert's joining us as well. Chad, you shared with me that you're back in a new car to you that has some history to go down the drag strip with. Any pressure to perform? And what's the history behind that car you just got?
I've been racing like 25 years, and I bought this huge log home, and it had a pole building with a dirt floor. And I said, Dad, I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to build a race shop like I always wanted. And now it's 2 years later, and I send in my licensing paperwork to NHRA, and they're like, you're outdated. You need to license. Like me and Mia should license together, because I had to like make 5 passes. But yeah, so I bought a car that's a couple years old, a dragster that has won $500,000 in the last 3 years. It has a world championship. So the owner is deathly afraid that I'm going to ruin everything he has painted this car to be. So I did put a wrap on it so no one will recognize it.
He did sell it to you, right?
He did sell it to me.
But he has like some kind of godly rights to it. If something goes wrong, he's going to feel
he does,
really bad.
But as a godsend here, so Thursday night was test and tune, and I haven't made a pass on this car. Put a new 615-inch motor in it, a Charlie transmission from automatic transmission design. And Thursday it was Slicks night at the Grove, and I got 1 pass. It was kind of a mess that night. And it goes down the track 740 at 178, and I could have steered it with my finger on the steering wheel. So I think I'm ready for this weekend. We're heading to Iowa, and I think I'm ready. I'm going to try and keep true. I'm not going to vouch for the $500,000 at one or anything, but I'm going to.
The car's got some mojo in it.
He needs a whole shop to house all of his Wallies and trophies. Like, I can set mine on the back of the toilet, and that's all the room I need.
So you've been at this a while, Joe. What do you think about his new piece? Have you gone through it yet yourself? Your son's Chad's car to get it rolling. Have you worked on it? Have you looked at it? Have you sat in it?
No, it's his whole project, and it's absolutely great. So I'm looking forward to it. I've been working on a car all winter. I bought an old bracket car, a 1970-ish or 1980-ish build, 77 Vega, that I'm making into a bracket car that we're going racing this weekend with.
Where are you going to run?
Same place. We're going to Tri-City, which is
Tri-State, Earlville,
Tri-State,
Iowa.
yeah, Earlville.
All right.
You're going to try to beat up on them corn farmers, right?
Yeah.
Ethanol growers.
Although last year we were there, and last year before, whatever, we decided to take the golf cart into town there, which is really nice. So we get the golf cart into town to get 10 gallons of gas. I said, let's stop and have a beer, Paulie. We walk in the bar in Iowa, and there's a goat in the bar with this lady. A billy goat.
What surprises you about that?
That's
Iowa.
my dad.
Can you tell these guys have fun? That's their name of the team is Covert Operation. And I saw a picture, Chad, of your car. It's beautiful. You also kind of went street crazy inside the hauler. You guys are doing it right. You got a new motor. You got a new golf cart and stuff. You guys are hitting it large this weekend in Iowa.
When you leave for 2 years, you don't realize that like all this havoc has happened. And I go to order a new trailer from Brad Miller, and he's like, it's 16 months. So thank God Johnny DiPiazza was selling his little trailer. Well, it's a little smaller than I'm used to. So the inside is like bare wood. So I put a floor in it. I hired a guy to come and do graffiti. So the whole inside is street graffitied. It's fantastic. But now the other night, I said to Dad, I'm going to load up the golf cart. So it's just myself. So I hook up the winch to it. I pulled in. And I'm like, what is wrong here? It doesn't fit. I had to lower the roof on the golf cart 3.5 inches to get it into my new small trailer. But we're ready. A few setbacks, and we're going to name both our cars Rich Strike this year. The 81 to odds
80 to 1
Derby winner.
Yeah.
We're going to. So watch out.
Yeah, you can tell the apple didn't fall far from the tree between these two here.
So you got
he's
Swamp
got
Rat 1,
the
Swamp
gray
Rat 2.
hair?
Yeah, the gray hair.
Swamp Rat 32, Swamp Rat 35. Now we've got Rich Strike 1, Rich Strike. Maybe you have to go
we're
2
not
and
going
3.
hybrid though. We're not going to electric.
All right, that's a good idea. Good idea. Stay gas. Hey, speaking of Vegas, this DiPiazza thing, did they influence you to get a Vega to go bracket racing, Joe?
Yeah. I loved his car, and I won I think 6 national events with my Vega back in the 80s and early 90s. Sold it to a guy out in Arizona and started going my super stock racing. So then when I decided to sell my super stocker, I found this Vega, drove from Michigan to Indiana, loaded it up and brought it home, and that's what I've been working on.
Cool. Hey, Dave, I want to see, speaking of DiPiazzas, Jerry DiPiazza passed away recently.
Yes.
I know you've known the family for a long time.
Right.
Do you have anything you can tell us on the radio about Jerry DiPiazza?
Yeah, I'm going to tell one story that I remember. This is probably in the early 90s.
If we're on the radio. We're not on the radio anymore.
In the early 90s, Broadway Bob had, for the bracket races, like 4 different entries that you could, the more you paid in, the more you would win, okay? And so the finals came down to Jerry was in with his Firebird, and I forget who it was, but somebody else in. Well, he was in for the 500. It was 500 to win, 200 runner-up. Jerry was in for 2,000 to win, 500 runner-up.
Because he paid more on the entry, yeah.
Right, so they made a deal. Okay, it's all about the money, all right? And the other guy is supposed to go blatantly red, okay? Well, they pre-stage, the other guy stages, Jerry goes to stage, hits the trans brake, and the car rolls the beams, okay? Oh, yeah, right? You guys know, right? It's like, so I'm not sure how they worked this deal out with the money, because it was supposed to be $2,200 to split, ended up being $1,200 or something, I don't know, okay? And nobody went near Jerry because there was steam rolling out of the car as soon as that happened. But
so he red lighted and he lost the bigger money for both of them.
Exactly.
All right.
Yeah. So again, I don't know how that worked out. None of my business, and but it happens. So
racing for a long time. You guys must have really enjoyed doing this. Chad, you wanted to get back into this. How many races do you think you put in this year on the car that you now have control of?
I struggle because I run a car dealership, which is actually talking about Jerry DiPiazza. It's fantastic. I've become good friends with Johnny, but I used to see his dad every weekend at the auction and get updates on him and his brother racing, and just a fantastic guy. But I hope to race 1 or 2 weekends, and we always do Brainerd, the national event in Brainerd. We love that. That's why we're going to Iowa next weekend to get the grade points. But every weekend I can. I'm the guy that'll show up Saturday night. I'll leave the dealership at 5 with the rig. I'll show up. Everybody wonders why I'm pulling in late. And I think I won. Johnny can attest. I think I showed up at the Grove and we drank till about 2 in the morning. And I think I won that $5,000 the next day, didn't I?
He's got 5 figures up for you, Chad.
I think I won that $5,000.
I think it was 4 or 5 in the morning because I got there at 9 o'clock. They were all dead to the world. And he said, Dad, you could drive my Oldsmobile. I get there knocking on the door, and then I find out he won $5,000.
It happens.
So it works.
Yeah.
You can show up Saturday night and still win.
And my claim to fame is I've never lost to Joe Colbert.
How many times did you race against Joe Colbert?
I think none. So I'm just saying.
I do feel like this is like a drag racing night. I feel like we need to, like all the circle track guys out here, like your DirecTV got stuck on Hallmark Channel or something.
We're good, though, because, we cover all forms of motorsports, and we could do this all night long. Dave, what you been up to? We haven't seen you in a while.
I'm just enjoying life out in Burlington. I like it out there. I get to the track once in a while. Still hang around. I still like racing. I keep up on the internet. Now, I would like to give you an update, though, because there are some listeners and people here that remember Pepe Le Pew.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's when we were a radio-only show.
I was
Now we're not.
I was contacted by Pepe a couple weeks ago. It was a telegram. Okay. Pepe's not into modern technology. All right. He is still searching for Fifi. Okay. His long lost love, who ran away with the Michelin Man. If you remember this, right? He hasn't found her yet. He's somewhere in Tibet or Mongolia. He's going to see the wise ass on the hill to get some information. So I just thought I'd give you that update.
It's always welcome news here on Racing Around the Show.
I thought so.
Breaking news where Pepe is, we don't know.
Yep.
Somewhere.
Okay. It's all good.
It's been a ball, guys. It's been a lot of fun. How about I say it for these guys, Joe Covert and Chad Covert, racing this weekend in Iowa. Guys, we wish you the best. Thanks for coming down and hanging out with us, and your patience for being on the show, because, we don't know when we need to stop talking, but I think it's now. So, Joe, thank you.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
We welcome you back, and if you want to chat, I should say this. You've got a little note there. Is there anybody we need to thank for what you get to do to go racing?
Charlie had automatic transmission design.
There you go.
178 miles an hour on a first pass. Thank you.
That's putting a nice bow on that as well. Dave Hohensee, thanks. Always great seeing you. And we're gonna take our time here and say we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna wrap it up. I got my sign out here. We're gonna say, how would I say it, for Bobby from Bobby's Bar for having us here tonight. Thank you, Bobby.
Thank you, Bobby.
Keep your hands together for TJ and Tony Zizzo. My replacement, Mia DiPiazza, and her dad John. Thanks for coming down as well. Thank you to Joe Pollack and his daughter Crystal, and how about it for the Coverts and Dave Hohensee. We've had a great show. Can't thank you enough for being part of it. We're next week. We're back at Polly's. Check out our schedule page. We'll put on our Facebook page who's all going to be on next week. We got a show, great one for you next week as well. And we want to thank our show crew. They make it happen. We're on the road. Thanks to D'Angelo's Construction. Thanks to Dave Schmalzer, Matt Rapina, Greg Lapine, Sam Prado, Dean Strom. They make it happen. Sherry Prock, Bruce Blodgett, Mark Goodman. Thank you for all you do to help us. Mark, thanks for bringing the Pinto wagon out on the road here. It's on the show. on the showroom floor at Bobby's. Next Tuesday, we're back here at Paulie's. Until then, have a great Memorial Day weekend. Support your local racing, set your DVR, and have at it, racers. We'll see you Tuesday at Paulie's.
Thank you for joining us for the Racing Roundup Show. Like our show on Facebook, contact us via our website, racingroundupshow.com, and interact with us on Twitter and Instagram at Racing Roundup. We are delivering fresh content every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Central. Until next time, race fans, support your local racetrack, set your DVR, and have at it, racers.